Hey everybody, it's Island Saturdays. This is Suzette Speaks, and you're watching the Suzette Speaks show. I have a very special edition for you today. We're talking Monday and we're talking inflation. And I don't know about you, I've been in the grocery store lately and looking at my bill. It is so frustrating. I actually went shopping because I'm trying to get ready for the whole Lent season. I do not really like fasting. I'm not that type of person. I'm not going to lie to you. I am trying to eat more healthy to prepare my body to get on my fast. So I'm here trying to buy organic vegetables, y'all. And I walk through Publix, and I don't really go to Publix. I shop more at Aldi because I love a good bargain and a good saving. But all the organic fruits and vegetables are not at Aldi. So I go to Publix and I start and I sorry about that. Struggle streaming already. I see there are very few vegetables, not the fruits, vegetables that I can afford. I picked up a pack of organic Brussels sprouts, $7.99, $6.99 for organic mushrooms. All the things that I really enjoy eating are super expensive because of inflation. But then again, the US government keeps releasing numbers saying that the jobs numbers are great and that the overall inflation rate is actually decreasing. Don't you worry. I have a financial expert with me today. He's a certified financial planner, Lindell Douglas. He's coming back to us, y'all. Newly minted author. I have his book. He is a fantastic friend and really well versed on why we're experiencing so much inflation, even though the government keeps saying prices are going back down. I looked at this article real quick, you guys, and a dozen eggs now costs more than a pound of ground beef. Now, I have a beef with this. Hey, it is such a frustration. I used to buy eggs by the dozens and dozens, guys. I can't bake nothing. I can't put nothing into the pot. I used to eat 3 egg whites. Now I'm eating 2 whole eggs because even I look at my grocery basket and say, grocery basket and say to myself, what's really happening? And why is it that I don't have all of my usual rations, my usual groceries, and then my bill is almost twice, probably about a third more in Aldi. But if I go to Publix or if I go to other supermarkets, no shade on Publix. But looking at the prices, I say to myself, what is going on really? Why can't I afford what's happening out here? I saw this real quote real quick. How much were eggs a year ago? And how much was beef a year ago? And leave me a comment, guys. Go ahead and say hello wherever you're watching from. Co-hosted today by Jamaicans.com. That's why it's the island version every Saturday. Jamaicans.com is my co-host and sponsor and allows me to simulcast on their Facebook page. So big up yourself if you're watching. My guest is coming to us live today. I think he might be in Jamaica. Let me ask him. But I saw this quote, and I'll bring him up just now. It says a dozen eggs officially cost more than beef. A dozen eggs is now $4.82. I almost pay $5 where I shop. Pound of ground beef, $4.64. Yeah. And then exactly a year ago, a dozen eggs were about $2 and a pound of ground beef was $5.12. This was off of Patrick Bet-David's page, and he says it looks like moving forward hamburgers, let me get myself out of the way here, hamburgers will replace omelets for breakfast in the US. I don't know where you're watching from, folks, but if you're experiencing inflation anywhere close to how we're experiencing it here in the United States, trust me, when you go to buy your groceries, do you feel some type of way like I feel? I was going to actually show y'all my receipt, but I didn't want to go too deep in terms of what I used to purchase and what I have to purchase now and how I have to make my stuff stretch. I don't know if you're feeling me. My vegetables I used to buy weekly. Now they got to go to the 2-week mark. I do not go back until almost everything is done. That used to not be the way I shopped. I tried to shop as freshly as possible. But today we're talking inflation, and I want you guys to hit the like button, come through. Let me know what you're feeling. Are you too also affected by the prices in our current market? The groceries are killing us softly, many of us. There are so many of us who are looking at our bills, looking at our grocery costs, wondering where the heck is the money going. And I have just the man to come here and explain how does inflation work and what is actually happening in our market. Please welcome with me today for the second time on the SuzetteSpeaks show. He did a fantastic stream called Men and Money. I should drop the link so you guys can go back and see it. But I want you guys to welcome back my brother from another mother, Lindell Douglas. Big up yourself. How are you, Lindell?
I'm good. I'm good. How you doing, Suzette?
I'm so happy to see you, brother. You're back. It's been not that long. I guess I missed you already. How are you and where are you coming from today?
I'm actually in Jamaica today.
I figured he loves to chill out and be among his peeps in the beautiful island of Jamaica. Jamaicans.com. Please welcome him already on the super chat. Thank you. Out here trucking. Jeremy says, between inflation and the housing market, I may have to relocate to Houston, says Jeremy. Peace and love to you, Suzette. Thank you, Jeremy, on the super chat, showing love already in the stream. We appreciate you. And I thank you for being an ardent supporter here on the SuzetteSpeaks show. Jamaicans.com. Let me know where you're watching from. Drop a comment. Let me know if you like the content. Go ahead, hit the like button so other people can see it. But Lindell, welcome, sir. How you doing today?
I'm great. It's always wonderful to be on your show, you know? It's always good to see you.
Listen, I saw the shirt and I said, let me go match the shirt and the earrings. Yes, look at coordination. So the people who have seen him before, welcome him back. But if you are brand new to the channel, hey, Juliet. Thank you again, Jeremy, on the super chat for showing love today. Juliet says, good morning. You are speaking the truth. Listen, not even like water and all of that. We didn't get to that. We're just talking about the groceries today, guys. You speaking the truth. I don't talk about Publix. Outrageous prices. Listen, sometimes I can only find, you know what I got there? Organic beetroot. I like my carrots and my beetroot with the stem on top, with the big whole bush on top, because I want to make sure I'm getting all the nutrients and I want to see it like as if it were plucked from the ground. So when I blend up my thing, I know I'm getting iron and vitamins and all of that. But I'm super, super stressed. Who got you, Lindell? Tell him to come in the street. Lindell, don't look over your shoulder. Tell him to come on the show. But anyway, introduce yourself, brother. How you doing?
I am great. I'm great. It's always wonderful to be on the show. You know, I'm Lindell Douglas. You know, I'm a certified financial planner. I love talking about money, economics, and, it affects us all. I mean, I'm also a minister, and it's funny because the Bible talks second about money. Salvation is number one, then money, because money affects us all. Matter of fact, I think in Ecclesiastes 10:19 it says, money answers everything. So as long as we're on this earth, money is important, and because we need it for our daily living. We needed to pay our light bill. We needed to pay our mortgage. We needed to do, it's a medium of exchange here, and how we manage it is important. And we needed to help the poor. We needed to be benevolent. If you don't have money, you can't really help anyone. You can't really, carry out some of the things that the Bible asks you to do. You can have sympathy, but you really can't extend yourself, to help somebody in need if you are in need yourself. So, it's important. It's important that we learn how to manage it, and especially in this time where we're seeing inflation just running away, and how do we deal with that? How do we handle ourselves in this time and this season?
Absolutely, sir. I want to welcome all my viewers. I see you guys. Thank you so much for popping in. We're here with the man himself, Lindell Douglas, certified financial planner, author, financial expert. We're just going to talk a little bit about what's going on in the economy, because I know it's super frustrating for people like me. Let me read a couple of the comments. Welcome, Sandy B. Law. Saw you in there talking inflation. How do you guys feel about it? There's so many parts of me that gets annoyed where I feel like I used to pay $1 for this. Now it's $1.99. Now it's $2.99. Now I'm not buying it. $3.99. Like, there are parts of me that I'm like, I gotta forego. Even with the most simple items, you see these price jumps. Black Lexicon welcome says, good afternoon, Suzette. I make the adjustment by buying less of goods I desire to offset the higher cost of the groceries. So yes. So maybe instead of, listen, my 4 beets, they gotta last me 2 weeks. my 4 beetroot. I'm not buying no more beets till 2 weeks time for the. I think it was like $6.99 for the bunch of the organic beets. But no, it's for real. I felt like, okay, I'm definitely gonna lose some weight because I'm not buying a lot of foolishness like I used to buy that were discretionary items. I hear you, Maggie. Maggie, the substitute teacher. We should start calling you Maggie, the global traveler. This lady's always on the road, a fantastic content creator. She shows us how to make healthy foods with good substitutes that are less fat, less sugar, less salt, no, heavy stuff. And Maggie saying she coming through to support. Big up yourself, Maggie. Can't wait to see where you go to next, girl. Loving all your content, sweetie. Thank you for being here. Doug's in the building, one of my moderators. Thank you, Doug, and a fantastic supporter, Patreon member. We got a fantastic Patreon coming up a little bit after this show. Welcome. Let me see. Black Lexicon is schooling us. He says, there is a term or eco theory about that. I just don't know what it's termed. Okay, Lindell is here to break it down. Yes, Sandy says it really makes me think before I buy. Hey, Damon, good to have you. Hit the like button, y'all. We're talking about inflation and your wallet. I'm here with expert, certified financial planner, a gentleman who needs no introduction. I am so grateful he gave me a copy, signed copy, y'all, of his book. The link is in the description. 5 Steps to Financial Freedom. I think he's the right man for the job today to be talking about why. Y'all see I put the gold background because we're talking about silver and gold and your pennies and your coins today. And why is it seems like even though the government in every report, Lindell, says, oh, we are getting, back to normal, there's less inflation. And unfortunately, no, I don't feel like it in my wallet. I don't know how the rest of you feel, but hit the like button. Welcome, Jamaicans.com. Our co-host for today, every Saturday is Island Saturday. SuzetteSpeaks show is co-hosted on their Facebook page, and people there are watching from around the world. And I appreciate the support. Thank you so much to everybody watching. So, Lindell, so tell me where does this inflation come from? Is it because we got the stimulus? I'm trying to figure out what's going on. What prices can't come back down?
Yeah, that's definitely, the stimulus is definitely part of it. If you remember that, we needed to stimulate the economy. So you had all these quantitative easing that they did by pushing money into the economy to jumpstart it. But what happened with that is that when all of that money is out there, there's so much money that people have excess money to buy things. Now, remember, inflation is the increase in goods and services, and it's demand and supply. So when you have, so much money chasing limited supply, the goods and service, the prices are going to go up. So what they've been trying to do since last year is they came out, with these I-bonds, where they're trying to buy back, sell you bonds and take the money to kind of reduce the money supply so they can control inflation. So that works somewhat, but it's not where they want it to be. And then, to top that, you have this bird flu that killed so many chickens.
Yeah.
So you have like 58 million chicken died, right? So when you have all of that chicken died, right, you have less chicken to lay eggs. And when you have less chicken to lay eggs, you have less eggs to sell. When you have less eggs to sell, the prices are going to go up because now you have a demand for egg and you don't have the supply for it, right? So, and that's really what pushed up the price of eggs.
Wow.
Because turkey and chicken has been affected by this bird flu, and you have millions and millions of chicken that died and turkey that died. So basically, the supply is very low, and so there's only a few
finite
million.
amount. I remember my economics 101. You have a finite amount of goods. You have a lot of people who demand that good. Eggs, right? All my protein heads out there, or people who just like a good omelet, or eggs go in everything. So you have this pandemic among birds, the bird flu, that came in, wiped out a whole bunch, and now we have a limited supply and a very high demand. Hence why eggs are over in many places $5 a dozen.
Right, and then don't forget that we had a pandemic that was affecting other logistics supplies of other raw material. So you have, so basically it's a perfect storm. You have the bird flu, you had the pandemic, which was already affecting other logistics and messing with supplies for that. And with all of that, eggs are one of the staple that's been affected, and that's why you see the prices more than double.
I love it. I think there is so much, again, those of us who took econ back in the day, this is jarring our memory in terms of supply and demand. When you have a small supply, it sounds like you're saying, and a high demand, prices go crazy and you
Yeah.
don't know when it's going to go back down. So inflation in your wallet is what we're talking about, folks. I'm going to read a few comments. Thank you. Yes, Black Lexicon is like me. I loved econ class. It's been a while, but I did like economics too. He said, yes, there you go. That's a term you use, substitute goods. But break it down for us, Lindell. Absolutely. That's what he's here for. Hey, Marcia. Marcia says, let me see. I want to understand what inflation is and what really drives it. You're in the right place, Marcia. So as Lindell started to kind of explain, when you have, I think, the pandemic, real pandemic, our pandemic, human pandemic, not just the bird flu, where we had people that didn't go to work, so there were no trucks on the road moving, there were no ships sailing, cargo ships, goods weren't moving. You had a whole bunch of goods in one place and people who wanted to buy it in another place who didn't have access to it. So the very few goods that were there at the destination ended up becoming more expensive because there was not access to enough for everyone to have, for it to go around. So when you had these kind of blockages and the what they call the supply chain, we heard that term a lot during the pandemic, the supply chain. And Lindell, you can talk a little bit more about it, but I'm just going off of my what I remember back in my day with my little finance degree. But I just remember some of these issues. Go ahead, Lindell.
Right. So, with the pandemic, coming out of the pandemic, right, you had economies were shut down, right? Some persons were unable to go to work. So with that, less goods and services was produced. So inflation is the increase in cost of goods and services. Now, what drives it is that you have more demand for a good than your supply of that good. So, for instance, if you had gone into any car dealers to buy a car, you would realize the price of cars have gone up. That's because of the pandemic. They weren't able to produce enough cars to meet the demand. And because you have so few cars based upon the demand, what persons would do who have the money, they would offer more than the sticker price because they want to make sure that they get the car. That push up inflation because now you're paying more for a car than it actually was selling for. So, when the next person comes to buy, remember, businesses are smart. So if they see that, okay, you know what, I'm selling this car for $5, right? Or say $50,000. And somebody's coming and they're offering me $60,000 just to make sure that they get it, right? And we sell enough cars at that. The next time they price the car, they're going to price it at 60, right? So, and because there is shortage of cars because of the pandemic, right? Because production facilities couldn't operate at maximum capacity because they were requiring persons to stay home, and only essential goods and services was being produced. So what you have then is that's going to push up prices, and that is fueling inflation. On top of that, you had the stimulus that came out years before that was trying to help us avoid a recession. And a recession is once the goods and services that a country produces for 2 consecutive quarters, it's down. So what they're saying is that we don't want the economy to keep falling, not producing. No. So they're pushing you to spend. So they were giving you money to go and buy things. So when they give people money, and especially the poorer person, as soon as they get money, they go and buy the new color TV. They go and buy the new sofa that they wanted. They go and buy this, they go and buy that, right? They know that once you are wealthy or you're upper middle class, you understand the relationship between money and wealth. So when you get money, you're not in the mood to consume it. You're in the mood to save it and invest it in your future. So they give the poorer people money, so a lot of money, so that they will spend in order to stimulate the economy, because our economy is consumer based. Our economy depends upon people buying things and buying things on credit sometimes. So that's what pushes our economy. So they've done all of that to stimulate the economy. Then now you have the pandemic, and the pandemic now cuts supply of goods and services. So you look at that and you say, whoa, I mean, certain things that I wanted to buy, I can't buy it. So because I have this money, I'm going to offer extra. And then you have the bird flu, and the bird flu now targeting birds and turkey, and birds lay eggs, and the birds are dying. Like something like 58 million birds died. So basically, you have less birds laying eggs. So therefore, the price of eggs are going to go up, right? So and that's what you see happening right now.
Wow, there's so many. It's almost like a perfect storm, basically. Talking inflation, guys. And if you are like me, every time I go to the grocery store, I feel a little bit more pinch, and I wonder what else am I not going to be able to buy. I used to buy a lot of cereals and things like that. Probably, like I said, it's going to help me lose weight because I won't be buying Holy Book grains and things like this, because the price differential from where I remember it being to now, it just hurts me. It hurts my wallet, it hurts my stomach. Every part of me gets a little tight when I go into the supermarket. We do have a few questions here. Hit the like button, you guys. Suzette Speaks alongside CFP, Certified Financial Planner, Mr. Lindell Douglas. Again, if you need specific advice for financial planning purposes, you need to contact him directly. His website is listed in our description. This is for informational purposes only and just general discussion and educational value. All right. So if you need personalized financial advice, make sure you contact a financial expert directly. All right, let's see what we got in the comments. There are people who feel like we do, Lindell, for sure. Big up Richard. Richard says, how much of it is the conspiracy of farmers not raising the prices or getting paid more? So do you think farmers had any contribution? I think I understand what you mean, Richard. How much is it a conspiracy, like farmers are forcing this price increase? Do you think farmers have anything to do with it, Lindell?
Well, farmers are in the business, right? They're a business owner just like everyone else, right? So therefore, they are going to see that, okay, you know what? I have persons who want more eggs than I can supply them, so I'm going to raise my prices. Now, farmers also, the government pays them for every bird that dies, right? So they're actually paid, reimbursed for the birds that they have to euthanize because they have the bird flu, right? However, they're looking at, if you're running a business, you're looking at, okay, I got all these orders for eggs and I can't fulfill them. So therefore, I can raise my price a bit, right? So that I make more money because, I could have, okay, the government reimbursed me for the chicken, but I used to sell, let's just say I used to sell 10,000 eggs a month, right? And now with what's going on, I can only sell 5, right? And if I used to sell them for $1, that means my revenue would be $10,000. If I can only sell 5,000 eggs, I'm going to raise the price of eggs to $2. So that at least I'm still in the same place, and there you have it. So it's not, I wouldn't say it's a conspiracy. Business are in business to make a profit.
Right.
They don't hide that. Their thing is to maximize profit. And that's what they look out to do. So they're not in the business of charity. So they're going to take advantage of what they see in the marketplace, right? And anybody in business understand that. If you see that, I used to sell something for $5, but I got lots of people come in and have limited, you're going to raise the price. You're going to raise the price because you're going to take advantage of the demand because you have limited quantity. It's just an astute business person would do that.
So not necessarily that they are involved in any conspiracy, but if there are possibilities to make more money by changing your prices, increasing your prices, they're business people. So most likely they'll do that. So it's not necessarily that they're conspiratorially doing that, but possibly just makes more sense in the market. We're talking inflation with Lindell Douglas, CFP, giving us some insight into what is causing all this inflation. Will it ever go back down is my next question, but let's see what the chat is saying. Damon in the building. Let's see. Damon asks, explain the theory of some experts that say unemployment needs to go up and not down to help inflation. Explain the theory that unemployment needs to go up, so less people working, less money for them to spend, I guess, is the net result of that. Needs to go up to help inflation, so they have less money to spend. Would you agree with this? Is this something that's been kind of discussed?
That's the thing with economics, right? There are several theories, but the thing with theories is that all things don't stay the same, right? So if the layperson, you look at it and you say, yeah, there is a theory out there, and it can be true, that if unemployment goes up, there's more persons not working. So therefore, if there's more person not working, there's less money to spend. So cost of goods and services must come down. Now, you also would have a lot of opportunity. And that's one other thing I'm going to talk about later, is that if you have cash, hold on to it. Because when you have high inflation, there's a lot of opportunity. People are going to be losing their homes. Things are going to be happening. Person on fixed income can't afford their homes anymore, can't afford to pay the taxes, can't afford to pay the insurance. And those homes are going to be on the market. You can buy them at tax lien for the tax amount and all that stuff. So cash will be king in this. So therefore, yes, the more persons that is not working, you have less money to spend. And therefore, inflation can come down. But there's other things to make inflation comes down, right? So the government what they can do, which they are doing, is that they can dry up the money supply, right? So the persons with money, they give you incentives to basically park that money. So what you will see is that you will see interest rates start to go up on certain things, right? You'll see bond interest rates start to go up. You'll see CDs start to go up, because what they're trying to do is to get you now to put away your money and lock it away so you don't have it to spend. So you can have lower employment, and with the right quantitative easing, that basically that's drying up the money that's available, out in the money supply. And if you're a smart consumer, you can do it yourself. So this is where you, the consumer, need to become smart. This is when you need to make sacrifices. So you need to say, you know what? I normally would eat, 5 eggs or a dozen eggs a week. I'm just going to eat one.
3 egg whites a day. Nope.
Yeah. I am going to cut back on all of these things and not buy them and keep my money. So if people are not buying the stuff, then basically you're drying up the demand. So if the consumer gets smart, you don't have to push us into a depression to control inflation by having so many person unemployed, have lines all over the place, with person begging and things. You don't have to push the economy there. The consumer can get smart, or the government can offer these incentives that people just can't pass up to push their money away, or you become a smarter consumer. You start saying, you know what, I'm going to hold on to my money because there's going to be so much opportunity here. There's going to be stocks I wanted to buy that I couldn't afford before that I can buy now. And you can set yourself up that once this thing turn around, you become very wealthy, right?
Well, because that's encouraging. Go ahead.
Yeah. Because you hold on to your cash and look for opportunities.
Wow. Because I was being told, and again, this might have been earlier on in the pandemic, or towards the end of the pandemic, earlier on in the reopening, that, oh, no, you should put your money to work for you and you shouldn't necessarily have cash. And because of inflation, your cash loses value. So any cash that is kind of in a stagnant position, it's not good. But you're saying it just depends. You could go ahead.
Suzette,
yeah,
that is true, right?
Yeah.
So if you have cash and your cash is not making money, enough interest to keep up inflation, you're losing purchasing power.
Right.
But what a person don't understand is that some cash is not, you're not worried about losing purchasing power. What you want the cash for is opportunity, is peace of mind, right? That's why some people keep money in their house under their mattress somewhere, because the
Old
bottom
school.
line is they don't care about the inflation. That money makes them feel secure. That money makes them feel like, okay, if something happened tomorrow morning, I can move. And therefore, you always need to have cash, right? That you can take care of opportunity and not lock your money away just chasing returns. You see, the thing is, persons need to be smart. Just don't take financial advice from anybody, because I've heard it. I've heard persons giving people finance. Oh, you have $50,000 in your savings account. You're crazy. You're only getting 1% or less than 1%. Take the money and put it there. And then all of a sudden, the person have an emergency, and what do?
No
Right?
cash.
So some cash are not about how much interest you get, right? It's about the peace of mind and the opportunity. Because guess what? Tomorrow morning, or a week, or 2 years from now, when there is a property selling, and that property is selling so cheap, you have the cash, somebody else cash is tied up that they can't get access to it. And if they go to get access to it, it's going to cost them penalties and this and that, right? By the time they could get it, you jump on it. And if you measure your return, what you get from the property you bought based on the value, you'd have done better by getting less than 1%. So
Right.
it's how you structure your money. It's not about interest rates. It's about being smart. It's about having a plan. It's about knowing what the money is there for.
No, I'm glad you pointed that out, Lindell. And again, everyone's financial situations are different. So again, this is for educational and discussion purposes only. If you want a real one-on-one assessment of your financial prospects, go ahead and call Lindell, or call someone specifically who can look at your circumstances and give you some one-on-one advice. But again, today's discussion is basically generic, and we want to make sure everyone understands that you as an individual has to do your research based on where you are. But I agree with you fully, Lindell. There were so many people pushing me and pushing others, get your cash moving, get your cash moving, get your cash working for you. But if you don't have a rainy day fund, you're going to be in a when the stuff hits the fan, you're going to be in a very difficult position if you have a medical emergency, if your car breaks down, if you have other things that happen, hurricanes, things that happen in your house, and people get sick. So if you are not ready to deal with those type of things, on top of what Lindell just pointed out, when the market shifts, he who has cash, liquid money that can move it, purchase things, and get in and get out. There are people. I just met a gentleman I was talking to who was doing a deal for a guy in Miami, and just to make it generic, the gentleman was sitting on over $1 million worth of property, but was about to lose it because he couldn't pay his tax deeds. So I can imagine. I'm like, this man is land rich. He got 4, 5, 6 lots in the heart of Miami, millions of dollars worth, but don't have no cash to pay the taxes. So thankfully, he was able to meet a brother who could, be trustworthy, Miami, and paid it for him, et cetera, so he could get to sell it, so he can get some cash. You need some cash right now, bro. If you cannot even pay your tax deed, then there's something else, or you can't pay your tax bill, that there's something else going on there where we're kind of, out of balance. So I think the key word for me, Lindell, and you let me know, you're the expert, balance. Oftentimes people get so caught up in one extreme or the other extreme, and they want to put all their money in the market. They want to put all their money in real estate. That's when you hear these people say, balance your portfolio. It is important that you understand you have to have some cash. You have to have some investments. You know better than me, Lindell. Please let the people know.
Yeah, I mean, let's look at an example, right? The Joe Robbie, they used to own the Dolphins, right? And when he died, they had to pay estate taxes, and the estate didn't have cash. So somebody came in and bought the Dolphin for less than it was value, and Wayne Eisinger. So so you look at that, you say, okay, persons don't understand. You can be very wealthy, and if you might be wealthy in assets, but you still need to have cash. So don't let anyone come in, and I hate when persons who call themselves financial advisor, where they're just an insurance salesperson or something, and they come and they tell a person to take up all of their cash, put it into a life insurance policy, and they said, oh, you can borrow from it, and you can do this and you can do that, right? And then, and then you probably can. But then you look at the cost, what it's going to cost you for cost of insurance, or mortality and expenses, thing there. And when you look at it over the long run, you're like, whoa, this thing is not really working. Because, and I'm not saying that you should never buy those policy, but as Suzette said earlier, it's balance. Is to say, okay, you know what? All right, there's some cash that I can put there, but I need to always have my war chest. I need to always have money that I'm looking for in case something goes wrong. When I used to work for somebody, I used to call it, my, get out of jail. So I used to say that the company was my jail, and if everything come out that I need to say, hey, listen, guys, you can't. I don't like what you're telling me, and I need to take a year off and find another job. Then I have the money to do that. So therefore, I'm not stressed. I'm not going in and everything they tell me to jump, I jump, because I put myself in a position where if I need to say, all right, bye, see you, I'm able to do that, right? And if I see opportunity down the road that I can jump on, I can do that. But if you're just I'm living house poor, where you basically have this big house, you're paying for a mortgage, you're paying for a car payment, you're buying $5 eggs, and all of what's happening, you've not made the adjustment. The key right now is sacrifice. And most persons don't want to hear that word, but sacrifice is good for you, because once you start making sacrifices, once you start saying, you know what, I can afford cable TV, but with everything that's happening right now, I'm spending $80 a month on cable TV. I'm just pulling up some about it in here, right? And I'm saying, okay, maybe I can cut that. Maybe I can turn off my air conditioner, turn it down low, because what I'm trying to do is to sacrifice something to save some more money to build my cash position. So in this inflation period, make some sacrifices, cut some things that you normally enjoy, live below your income, and save as much money as you can, and look for the opportunities, because they're going to come up.
I love it, Lindell. That's some really good stuff, y'all. Hope you're enjoying it. Hit the like button. I see a lot of discussion still on this topic in our chat. Thank you, everybody watching. I appreciate you watching on our co-host, Jamaicans.com, as well as here on the Suzette Speaks YouTube. If you're on the Facebook side, come over to YouTube and come look me up, Suzette Speaks, and I'll be happy to have you in my community here. We call them the speakers. Lindell's given some great feedback, and I see people in the chat still kind of talking about the pricing in terms of individual goods. So very great perspective, Lindell, about cash and its place. When you start seeing prices go up, sacrificing may help so you can get more cash when you need it. I feel that. I think that's a wonderful rule. If you are generally wondering, what should I be doing? Inflation is killing us all softly, especially people of middle income, lower income, and we're looking around what to do. So we actually, Lindell, we might have to be sacrificing by necessity, because we are looking at all these subscriptions. People have Netflix, people have this, people have, the cable bill keeps going up. Thanks, Comcast. Every month I got to call these people and ask them, what are they doing? What is going on? Why is there a new increase? And I didn't change anything, like there's a constant desire of companies to try to capitalize on what they are also experiencing. The companies are like, we could bring it down to restaurants, because we've been talking about eggs and the price of groceries. Even though you're used to getting in, South Florida, we love Dutch Pot. Dutch Pot is a Jamaican restaurant that have the $5.99. It was actually $4.99 lunch, $3.99 at one point. Lunch special. See, I can't even remember. It went up to $4.99, and I think it's $5.25 now, but with taxes, almost $6. But you, as a consumer, as a person that purchases goods, you think you should still be able to get that breakfast or that lunch for $4 or $5. But companies also are absorbing higher prices. So they too are looking at ways in which we used to get a side of steamed vegetable and plantain. No more plantain in your no more plantain for you. No more sweet plantain for you in that good old $5 lunchbox, which is really now $6. Same thing with Subway. Subway used to have the $5 foot long. Now I see $6, whatever. I mean, besides getting yourself together and having your own personal, cutbacks, where you're saying to yourself, I used to do it this many times a month. I only go out this many times. I used to, drink my Starbucks, or, go to the movies, or trying to find, I'm a big girl, free stuff girl on Eventbrite. I'll look on what's going on in the weekend, and whatever is free, we'll start there, and then we'll go to the paid stuff. Because again, my discretionary income when it comes to just hanging out has changed thanks to all the rises in, goods and services. So there's a lot of gold in what Lindell just shared. Definitely going to read some of you guys your comments. Let me see. We were talking about eggs at first, so I think I'm a little bit behind there. Black Lexicon, I just want to read your comment. Said, if that is the case, it should push up the demand for plant-based chicken products, including egg substitutes. Some people conspiratorially are saying that too, that they're not making eggs available and chicken available so that people eat more plant-based. I'm not a big conspiracy theorist like that. Point well taken. All right, I believe that was a Ronald Reagan era foreign policy. Black Lexicon adds, price controls are heavily frowned upon in our free market economy. Sometimes instituting this control for a short period can be helpful. So that's the job of the Fed. The Federal Reserve handles, monetary policy for our country. When they put more money into the system by giving it more to banks or taking it out, they try to control the supply. But again, during the pandemic, we had an increase in the supply of money that people had. Vis-a-vis the stimulus, a lot more people had a lot of cash they were sitting on. They weren't going to work at that time in the height of the pandemic, but they were getting checks to survive. But ultimately, it also came back into the market when things started to open up. And there was pent up demand, and then prices just went crazy. Let me see. Miss Globe Girl, hey sis, says farmers have had their own challenges prior to inflation. This is true. Soil erosion, climate change, debt, uncertainties with demand. Absolutely. Oh, really? Black Lexicon, do you freeze your eggs? You freeze whole eggs? Can you freeze whole eggs?
I don't know.
I never heard of this. You put your whole eggs in the freezer, cooked eggs or raw, frozen in the 12 pack of. I've never heard of that. Black Lexicon.
I've never heard of that.
Wow. Yes, Richard says the supermarket run is not the same. Exactly. I buy less snacks, Lindell. I don't know if I'm slimmer for it, but I definitely buy less snacks. Stuff I would be like, oh, let me get some pistachios. Let me get something. I don't buy no more nuts. I used to buy a lot of cashews, pistachios. Those were like my treat. I don't buy any more nuts. They're too expensive. So it's like, do what you got to do.
And then with the war, oil prices have gone up. So that's another thing that's affecting. So, I mean, you look at it, there's so much that's happening. As I said, if we just become smart, if we just start making sacrifices, not only will we be doing better for ourselves, but we'll force prices to come down because the demand won't be there.
So we as a consumer can help. I understand your point now fully, that if we slow down in our purchasing, because the decrease in demand is there, stores, people who sell goods, anybody will bring it down because we are spending less. But we, the consumer, have to conscientiously make that point. Wow. Oh, so Black Lexicon is put. Let me drop the link and say if anybody want to come up, join the discussion now, guys. If you have any comments, questions, want to ask him, Lindell Douglas, certified financial planner, also his website and new book are in the description. All right. Oh, really? Black Lexicon tastes the same to me once I let it thaw out. What? I never knew people could.
Wow. Is that the raw egg? That's sure it's not the raw egg.
Black Lexicon, respond if it's you talking about raw eggs in the shell you put in the freezer. I never heard of that. Let me drop the link. Join the conversation. Tell us what you think about inflation, guys. How are you managing the squeeze? Unfortunately, the grocery run, like they say, is not the same. There are so many times I look and I double check what I have. I never really was a person that really studied my grocery bill. Now I study my grocery bill. When I step out the store, I'm looking back like, what did I buy? Did I need that? Or if it gets close to a certain number, say I don't want to pass $75, $80, $90, whatever is left, I already put what I could put back at the very end, Lindell, of my shopping. And I'm like, okay, I already spent $30 last Sunday. It's only Thursday. I can't go over 75. Like I tell myself these things, even though ordinarily it would be like, oh, I'll just get what I need. Nope. I'm much more conscientious of it, even that far more than before even the pandemic. Want to hear what you guys have to say? Go ahead, Lindell.
Well, that's the thing, right? is most person you talk to and you ask them how you're on a budget, and they feel budget is a bad word. They feel only the poor should be on a budget, right? But
Or
listen,
low income.
right.
Yeah.
But you see, let me tell you this. A budget is not for the poor. A budget is for somebody who understand and respect money, right? If you understand, you should always know how much money you take in and where it's going. Because that way you are being a good steward of your money. If you don't know how much money you're spending on what, in what category, you're not being good steward of your money. And if you're not being good steward of your money, chances are you're not going to grow your wealth, because you need to respect money for money to respect you. If you manage money well, you get more. If you don't manage money very well, you don't get more, because you just keep robbing Peter to pay Paul, and you're in this vicious cycle because you've never sit down and say, you know what, my car payment is going to be X, my home is Y, so I have this discretionary, this is how I'm going to spend it, I'm going to save this amount, I'm going to have this amount prepared, looking for opportunity. You're being smart, and the smarter you've been with your money, the opportunity does come to you. But if you have no idea, some person say, how much money do you spend last month on eating out? I don't know. I think maybe, and they will tell you $100. And when I sit down and you go through their budget and you say, last month you spent $700 eating out. And they were like, no way. And you said, okay, look at the ATM withdrawal. You took $1,500 out of the ATM. Do you know where that went? They have no idea. You're not managing your money properly. And until you manage your money properly, you cannot go anywhere. You cannot be wealthy.
All right. Let's hear it from the certified financial planner himself, Lindell Douglas. Stepping on toes this morning. Hey, but we need to hear it, because oftentimes if we don't hold ourselves accountable, we end up kind of in a spiral by itself, creating almost kind of like you're treading water. You're not moving ahead. And it's okay to say that. I think, Lindell, this is a good time to plug your book real quick. I'm going to drop the link again. This is his book, guys. 5 Steps to Financial Freedom. He's talked about this. We did a good show together. Go back and watch it on the SuzetteSpeaks channel on YouTube, called Men and Money. Men and Money was a great show. Talk a little bit about the book, Lindell, and why you decided to write this.
The book came out of me looking back at my life and looking back at when I started as a financial advisor, and how did I move from, I had just moved here from Jamaica. I was in Miami. I had moved home in 94 and I came back in 98. So I knew nobody, but I didn't want to go back to Connecticut because it was too cold. And I knew no one here, and I wanted to build a business. And it's difficult to build a business when you don't have support, right? So there's some step that I followed in order to get me to where I am today. And I've decided to write the book, right? So the book can be retitled, the 5 steps to conquer the earthly realm, because it's important for you to have keys. Everything you do need to be strategic, right? Money just doesn't happen, just doesn't come to you. And for those who sometimes money just come to, because they don't respect it, it's gone within 5 years, right? So you have to build certain discipline. So what the book is about is it's teaching you 5 steps. These 5 things you need to do, these 5 things you need to look at, right? And basically follow them. And in following them, right, you'll develop a certain discipline. And by you developing that discipline, you'll find that your life is better, you respect money, money stays with you, and you'll do better for yourself long term.
I love it. I've been enjoying it. It's an easy read, guys. Yeah, it is something I think you guys will enjoy. 5 Steps to Financial Freedom by a biblical guide written by Lindell Douglas. You can find it on Amazon now, and the description is the Link is in the description. Let's read some of the comments. Go ahead, Lindell.
And I made it easy to read, right? So you can read this book off in 2 hours.
Yes.
I made it easy to read. I didn't write 150 pages. It's 55 pages. It stimulates you to write things down. It's really a workbook because I want the book to change your mindset. And I want the book for you not to be intimidated to say, man, I got to read 100 pages. I wanted something that you can do, have a cup of coffee, go through the book in 2 hours, and then basically go back to the book and have it as your roadmap that you're going to use to change your life. Now, there's another book coming out that's going to go much more detailed, but I want you to at least get the initial concept and to have it instilled in your mind that, okay, I'm changing the way I see money. I'm changing the way in which I'm doing things. And once you do that, then I can give you more information. But I didn't want to just overload the consumer with everything that's in my head. So I gave them a little bit, like a taster. And then the next book, now, by then you should be saying,
this is the baby food, y'all. You need this first step. You need a baby food before you can get deep. I love it. I love it.
Yes.
Wonderful gentleman that has been giving back. Guys, I've dropped the link if you want to come up and make any comments pertaining to this discussion. Let me go back and read some of your comments as to what you have to say. I have never thought about freezing eggs ever, Miss Globe Girl. I see it unless it was my own, right? That's on me too, darling. Don't worry. I definitely would try putting eggs in the freezer. I need to look this up. Damon says he freezes milk and it tastes the same.
Yeah, milk, I understand.
Milk, I got. Eggs, I was like, now I got to go check the FDA website just to go make sure I'm not going to be sick. Yes, Richard, I agree to Damon's question. I see how unemployment can lower inflation as well. Hey, gracefully blessed. Thank you for stopping on by. The savings and the not spending up all your money takes discipline. Guys, that's what we should be focused on, trying to find ways to kind of cut back. Obviously, the prices of things are forcing us, many of us, to do that anyway. But we also want to do it on purpose, with intention, so that when we can make money moves, we have the cash flow to do it. Yes. Good, Marsha. Go ahead, Lindell.
Richard says it takes discipline. And I agree. But you know what? It takes more than discipline. It takes desire. Because if you truly want to be, some people talk about being wealthy, right? But if you truly want to be wealthy, you'll have the desire. And that burning desire will force you to be disciplined. You see, people say, well, yeah, I want to be rich. No, you don't. If you really want, that desire will come. And when that desire comes, you will change your habits.
That burning desire. Let's go. Lindell says it's just a lot of talk right now for many of us. I hear you, brother. I hear you loud and clear. Black Lexicon say, yes, raw egg, bro. Okay, we're going to check into that. No disrespect. I'm going to look into that. Thank you. Because when it's on sale, I would freeze it if it's good for you. Alan Greenspan was very analytical while the chairman of the Federal Reserve. One of my homeboys down here, you know who got appointed to a Federal Reserve Board, Lindell? I don't know if you know him. The president of Broward College. Greg, I forget his last name. Young black guy. He got appointed to the Southern District Federal Reserve Board.
Oh, wow, nice.
I said that's a big deal. I wonder if he'd come on.
What's his name?
I forget his last name. I'm looking at him, but he's the president of Broward College. I was going to ask him if he would come on and do an interview.
That would be nice to have him.
We have a young black man as a reserve board member. There are districts throughout the country, and they help shape and control monetary supply for the region that they're in charge of. And he's from here in South Florida, and he just got appointed to like the Southern Regional Reserve Board. I thought that was really cool. Really, really cool. Yes, Marsha, the definite takeaway for me is discipline. I got to be disciplined with my money. Thanks, Lindell. Fantastic. Yes. Let me see. Black Lexicon says, I also purchased the other healthier milks. I see what you're saying. Oat milk, almond milk, etc., because their expirations are further out. Okay, cool. Good idea. Damon says, Suzette, I understood the unemployment question before I present. Oh, no. I needed to understand. I know you did. I was trying to understand it, but I understood it after I kind of read it a couple times. Yes, however, he did explain the interest rate going up to me. Thank you. No, I appreciate you, brother. I was trying to make sure I was clear on how that kind of mechanism would help itself. Thank you very much for the question. Andrew, respect. He needs to get the youth to learn about this. Yes, I hear you. My daughter stacks her money. I have little cousins too that they only want me to take them out and they don't want to spend their money. I say, you didn't bring no money. No, auntie, no. Everybody wants me to buy them this. Now everybody want eat. Oh, on me? I need you to pack your little piggy bank. But no, they're very. I love kids like that. She stays frugal and keeps simple interests and wants. So she doesn't need a lot of big stuff. How do we date on a budget? Ooh, question for you. How do we date on a budget?
Well, that's not so hard, you know.
It's
because
not.
If you are dating somebody and all that person is interested in is you taking them to expensive places, you are setting a tone, right? And the tone you're setting is that person's always going to look for you to do these things. While if you really want a long-term relationship, sometimes that person you say, listen, we're just going to put some sandwiches. We're going to go down to the beach with a picnic basket. We're going to spread out a little blanket and we're going to sit there. We're going to eat some strawberry. I don't know how expensive strawberries are right now, but we're just going to chill. Dating don't always mean you go to expensive places. And I think that's one of the things that we always want to impress people. But I tell you something, one thing I've learned, I read this book there recently, and the thing that came out of it was the guy was saying, people are not impressed with your money. And I always thought that, okay, somebody see you in a nice car no, they're not impressed. People are not impressed. What they're looking at is when you do this, they're saying, how can I think his money, I could spend it better. I would look better in his car. His house is nice, but I think me in that house would be nicer. People are impressed with when you're kind, with your humility. Then they talk about you. When you die, if all people know about you is that you have money, there's never any kind word they talk about you. But when you show kindness, when you show humility, that's what impresses people. So with your date, I would say that look at different things. And if that person don't want to hang around with you because you're not taking them expensive places, an expensive game, and you're not showing that you're a baller, and you're not that's not the lady for you, man, because the person who you marry is so important to your financial well-being.
Amen. Lindell out here doing God's work. Listen, Linda, I don't try to run up nobody bill. Let me just tell you that right now, right? There are ladies in my life, homegirls, that are like, you didn't run up that bill. I'm like, no, because if I really like a dude, I want to actually find. I didn't tell you this, Lindell. Me and Lindell actually know each other, in full disclosure, offline. But I invited a guy to like a beer garden, like a random games night, again, for the free. Look it up on Eventbrite. He was like, what you doing? Okay, let's hang out. So I'm like, let's go. I don't drink beer, but let's go hang out. Adult board games night with random people. Let's go. Like, we bought a pizza, $10-12. If you want a couple of drinks, that's it. Like, I actually want to get to know you. So I've also, ladies, I'm just saying, you can split a meal. No, y'all don't. Y'all don't split meals out here in Miami. Y'all don't want to do that. Y'all want to run up the man bill with the pure lobster and the pure shrimp and the pure big money stuff. Don't get got, gentlemen. Pick your restaurant wisely. I'm actually going to a vegan restaurant with a gentleman tomorrow. Like, I don't know him, and we're just gonna meet up. So he's like, "You like vegan food?" Yeah, sure. But it's not about, do simple stuff. Do simple stuff if you really in it to get to know the person. But some of them, Lindell, they're playing games out here. They try to get their nails did, their hair did, and then vice versa. They looking for a quick 1, 2, thank you. What do you call it? Wham, bam, thank you, man. So they trying to run up the bill to get extras, and then you got other people. You get what I'm saying? You got to be careful on both sides.
Right. The energy you give out is what you attract, right? So you can't be upset If you're just a baller and you're going out, you bring this lady to all expensive places, you take expensive vacation, you're flying first class. Maybe you can afford it now, right? But if you're not managing your money properly, and there comes a situation where you can't afford that lifestyle anymore, and she leaves you, you can't, nobody to blame but yourself, because you have acclimatized her to this lifestyle, and that's all she knows you have. So all of a sudden, you can't deliver that anymore. No,
Problem.
is
Problem.
I'm not saying you do go to expensive places every now and then, but sometimes you invite her over and you cook. I mean, if all you can do is to fry an egg, well, eggs expensive. Might have to do, you might have
Once
to do some,
again, we
you
got
might
back
have to
to
do some steak or something. I mean, the bottom line is that it's you put together something and you guys just chill out,
yeah, if you're doing it for
and
the right
spend time
reason.
talking and spend time getting to know each other, and then you go,
And
certain
then
time.
you say, okay, we're gonna invest what you like. We can't go to this show, that show, whatever, whatever. But yeah, people out here, they have the wrong which I say intent with folks, Lindell. And so they get caught up in the I want to be taken to this and run up your bill $200 and order stuff you don't even eat, and then it's a problem. Yeah, so we got to be very careful with our intentions there. Begs Lindell, Black Lexicon is blowing all our minds saying that he freezes eggs. He says use a moderate freezing temperature, slow freezing to avoid them expanding and the shell cracking. All the techniques for you guys, please look it up.
Wow.
Please, I'm gonna check FDA just to be sure that put them in the fridge while thawing if you're not going to use them the same day. Fantastic. I think I gotta, I learn stuff every day here. Thank you, Black
Wow.
Lexicon. Good afternoon, Peter Gay. How are you? Glad you're watching. He's like, duh, our eggs are frozen. Why can't chickens? I get what you're saying. Like chickens are frozen. Why can't eggs also be frozen? Okay, interesting. We're gonna look into it. Let me see. Yes, I agree with this. The old skills had a purpose. Yes, curing, putting down meats for old time. Like I get what you're saying. The ability to naturally preserve foods like fruits and vegetables are still very valid. And I am big on those things, Lindell. Even with the vegetable kick I'm on, like making sure lemons can go in water and it lasts longer. Your lemons, or you can put the head of the lettuce in water as well to when your lettuce gets a little wilted, to revive it. So there are a lot of things that help us to kind of re-energize our vegetables, especially, but fruits as well, sometimes to help them preserve them longer. That is definitely a technique we can all use right now. I hear you. Yes, I agree with you, Black Lexicon. I had services that I had to cancel because I wasn't really using them. He says, replaced my cable type services with Audible and Kindle Unlimited, right? So that's another thing I want to do for Lent is read more. So I hear you. So sometimes we're spending our time and money on things that are not really edifying. And I hear you on that. Rich Fletcher says, what about increasing your income? What would you say to that, Lindell?
Well, you in an inflationary environment, yes, you should actually
Get your money
go
up.
in.
Yes,
You should
yes.
actually go into your employer and ask for an increase. I mean, that there's nothing wrong with that. You could do that. You could try to have a side hustle. A matter of fact, everybody, if you work, my advice to you should always have some little side hustle that you're doing to bring some extra money. And that extra money is not to spend. That extra money is to secure your financial future, because you want to get to a point where you can literally say you don't want. See, listen, seriously, you don't want to get to 65. You don't want to spend working from 18 to 65. You spend 47 years working, and then you retire and you die at 76, right? So you work all of this time for 11 years in retirement. And then, at 65, 76, some people, their body's broken down. They can't really go anywhere. So you have 11 years to enjoy something that you've built up for that you're not in a position to do. That is not the way, though. You have got to get smart. Say, okay, you know what? I'm going to actually have a plan. That's why I said my book, I'm going to have a plan that I'm setting a date in which I want to accumulate X number of dollars, right? And work like crazy to build up that thing and cut some things. You're not trying to impress anybody. Seriously, you're not trying to impress anybody. You're trying to build your financial future. Guess what? They can say, "Oh, look at her old car." So what? After you've gotten to where you've gotten to, and you have this money, and you come out with your brand new Benz or Rolls Royce or
Ra, 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 ra.
Bentley, and because now you can afford it and you have money, right? So while a person, this whole saying "fake it until you make it" is nonsense. If you keep faking it to make it, you will never have money. You gotta sacrifice until you make it. Sacrifice. Put away some things. Make the sacrifices until you get to it. Once you get to it, then you can start doing the things you wanted to do, and get to it early than 65 or way up there. You've given your time to 47 years, and now you're gonna die and leave something to your children who they don't have any value of money, and they're gonna blow it in a new car or new this, and you've sacrificed all your life for this money that you can't enjoy. What's the purpose?
Yeah.
So good. No, you put together a better plan. That's the book. That's step 2 is planning. You got to make a plan. You got to put together a plan, and the plan is about, okay, when do I want to get something? And then you always have the end in mind. Then you go back, you say, okay, in 10 years, I want X number dollar. I had a in the book, I talk about one of my clients, right? Who, when I met up with them, they had a goal. And they bought a house, and they said, listen, we're not buying any furniture in the downstairs of the house until we have $100,000 in savings.
Wow.
You go to the house, and literally they have no furniture. And they've been building their money. And, so you sit there, they eat. And there's no shame in their game because they know what they wanted.
Lindell, furniture is expensive.
Yes.
Good quality furniture is expensive. Yes. So I hear them on that.
Yeah, once they got $100,000 in their savings account, that they've saved that $100,000, then they know, okay, you know what? Let's start this thing there. Today they're worth $10 million. And we worked with them for 25 years, right? And we start working when they were at $100,000, $100,000. And they that's when they called me in, because they said, listen, when I got there was no furniture. I was like, and that's when I asked. They said, no, we had a goal that we were not going to do anything until we have saved $100,000. And then so they had a plan, right? Most people, they're just flying by the seat of their pants. They don't know what they're spending where. They have no plans for the future. And so what? The future is always going to look like today.
Lindell, there's so many nuggets in what you just said. I'm here processing it and just thinking about my life, how I'm going to apply some of this. Best quote, best nugget: don't fake it till you make it, sacrifice till you make it. Yeah. And I just love that. There's so many beautiful nuggets in what you just said, brother. I'm just digesting it. Let's read the chat. Y'all, we have about 10 more minutes. If you want to come up, it is now is the time. Come through. Speak to the man himself, Lindell Douglas, certified financial planner. I still want to reverse that every time I say it. Financial planner. Grateful that he's here, coming to us live from Jamaica, because he has lived by his own advice, which is to sacrifice, work hard, so that you could actually enjoy the fruits while you are young enough, while you have your mind and the strength in your body to enjoy the fruits. Help us all, God, to get these lessons and internalize them. Get his book, y'all, 5 Steps to Financial Freedom, on Amazon. It's in the description, or you can go to his website as well. It's in the description of the video. Appreciate you watching. Hit the like button. Appreciate all the support. If you want to support the stream, you see the Cash App, and you can also super chat. Thank you, everybody, for watching. We're talking about saving up. We're talking about inflation, what to do about it. We were also talking about dating on a budget, and Sandy B. Law said dating, go to breakfast and lunch. I agree with this. Breakfast and lunch instead of dinner. I'm big on a lunch now. I don't need to go to dinner with you if I don't even know if I'm going to like you like that. So I'm big on the time of day too. Let me just see what's going on in the daylight, and we can go from the daylight to anything else we need to go to. But I'm big on that, Sandy. Great suggestion. Black Lexicon talking about corned beef sandwiches and outdoor jazz.
There you go.
One of the sweetest dates. Oh my gosh. This is years ago I've ever been on. This guy took me to, have you ever been to oh gosh, what's this? Sandy B would know the park. The park is goodness gracious, it's in North Miami, and they have kayaking, outdoor trails. Oh gosh, I'm looking at the park name right now. It's in North Miami, and they have tubing, canoeing, and he took me on a kayak in Biscayne Bay. Olita. You ever been to Olita State Park?
Mm-mm.
Olita State Park, and he didn't have a lot of money. And old boy made some bologna and cheese sandwiches with a bottle of wine. And it was this sweet. And I was a vegetarian. I didn't want to eat, or a pescatarian. I couldn't eat a bologna. I couldn't eat the bologna. But I had to pick him up because his car wasn't working. Don't judge a book, Lindell. He had a very good excuse as to why his car wasn't working at the time. Not a buster, guys. It wasn't a Pookie or Ray Ray. Actually, I think he has a nice girl right now. I think she's from South Africa. Really nice guy, actually. Smart guy, but just hadn't gotten to his plan yet for how he was going to make it, right? So we went to Olita, and it was so beautiful. I'm in the kayak. We're enjoying it, and they have little islands out there that you can stop your kayak on. People swim. I'm like, there's sharks in this water. This is the intercoastal. And he pulled out the little picnic basket with the little wine, and then you know what he said? He was like, okay, we could save the wine till next. Lindell, he wanted to save the wine. Brother, I don't eat the bologna and the cheese. But at least you could have opened up the wine bottle so I could have got it. I was like, I don't think this gonna work. I don't know if this one right here gonna work. I thought you had me on a beautiful day, beautiful park registration, wonderful activity, physical out in the, it was just I'd never experienced that. Kayaking in the open ocean. Beautiful. Well, my life vest, of course. And then the man get to the picnic, get to the beach, the island in the ocean. Next thing you know, it's bologna, and I can't eat the bologna. Then the man said, well, then let's just save the wine. Talk about frugal.
The man thought you weren't into him because you weren't eating his bologna sandwich. So he was like, I ain't giving her my wine. This is not going anywhere.
I was like, bruh. So I'm just gonna be hungry and not go have anything out here. It was really funny. Yes, Andrew, please humor me. He says, Suzette, TM Bulla for you. Bulla cake is a type of Jamaican confectionery item. Bulla is, and it's hard too. Like, let's go talk about sauerkraut and Polish hot dogs. Let's go. Hey, Great Bill. Oh, wow. Let's see. Miss Glove Girl says the best date I've ever been on cost $7. A slice of cheese pizza and a Coke in Dumbo, New York. Best date ever. Let me tell you, I'm telling you, this one, we had to pay just maybe like $1.50 to go into the park. And I think we have to pay for the rentals for the equipment and stuff. But it was some of the best, like as a memory, I would want to do that again. It was so good. Such good stuff. But yeah, you can date on a budget. Hey, says Lindell, giving that game. Good stuff. Thank you. Sandy B says, I split meals and sometimes pay for meals. I'll split. I have to be balanced in these times. Yeah, these tools, stuff is expensive. So I don't try to pick the most expensive restaurant. I don't try to pick, as Sandy B said, the most expensive time of day. Let's go to breakfast. Let's go to lunch and save you a few coins so you could just actually see if you like me, right? Yes, let wisdom and good sense prevail.
Suzette, the first date I took my wife on, right? We went to a pizza restaurant for lunch, and it was a pizza near to where I live. And because I said that we had just met, and I wasn't going to do anything fancy,
Right.
I don't want to lead with money, so we went to this little neighborhood pizza place, and we sat there. We had pizza. And I guess she didn't enjoy the pizza because she got to my house and she started puking.
The best on your first day.
The first day, she started puking and puking. And I was like, what is wrong with this girl? And she's like puking and puking. And I was like, wow. So
that's a memorable first date. That's
she had
funny.
Braids, right? So she has these braids, like these dreadlocks braids. So I have to be standing behind her, holding the braids. You
sure that's all she had was a pizza? Poor thing. Oh my, how embarrassing. embarrassing would that be on a first date?
First date, the
To come home and
first
then be
date.
on. Oh God, I would hate that. That out here trucking. Jeremy says, Suzette, you know these modern women ain't on that. Let me chill.
But don't date these women
You
because now
gotta
that
be
they all
careful,
want your
guys.
money, don't do it.
As Lindell says, it's the most important decision. Y'all chasing the hot girls. Y'all gonna get burnt and then y'all mad at life. But this is what we're here to, kind of bring light to. Hopefully we use wisdom. Black Lexicon's still on the eggs, talking about our reproductive eggs are frozen. Why can't our other eggs be? Thank you. Oh my gosh. Yes, you can freeze eggs. Okay, we're with the frozen eggs. Up to a year? Wow. And although it recommends that you use it within 4 months. Oh, wow. Okay, taught me something today. Yes, Gregory Hale. Thank you. I'm sorry, my internet's not letting me be great, guys. I see a little delay. Sorry about that. Yes, Gregory Hale. He is now on the Fed board. This gentleman here. Yes, young Black guy. Young family. From Broward County. Up in Broward College president. He's now on the Southern District, serving a term on the Federal Reserve Board for the Southern District. Sorry about my internet. I think I'm going to have to take a quick break. Lindell, I have a Patreon coming up at final.
You're breaking up.
Rosalind, I'm going to try to read more. Ugh.
Hey, Suzette, we can hear you.
Sorry.
We're experiencing some technical difficulties. I think our host will be back with us in a minute. If I could see some questions, I probably could answer some questions while Suzette comes back on. But I can't see anything.
I'm sorry. I think.
What happened?
No, my battery wasn't plugged in. Now I think my computer was trying to use all its power to stay. I thought my laptop was plugged in. My computer was trying to use all its power ever to stay on. Guys, we have time for a few more comments. This just was, I don't know. The internet does not want us to be great, but we're going to have a good show because I guess more people need to hear this.
I thought the guy with the bologna sandwich saw the program and decided to call you and say, let's do a do-over.
He was so sweet too, with the darn bologna and cheese in his little picnic basket, and it was a beautifully planned date. It was so sweet. Just a couple things in line up. When he took back that wine, I was like, what are we doing here? I want you to be frugal, but not that frugal. Yes, Richard, you were right. Gregory Adam Hale, Greg Hale, president of Broward College, like I said, is on the Southern District or Southern Regional Federal Reserve Board, just appointed in the fall. I think he just got a 1-year appointment. So shout out to him, younger Black guy, Black man, position now for even more influence than he has, being the president of a community college system here in South Florida. But yes, Rosalind says, Lindell reminds me of my uncle. He was all about the plan. I love it. I love it. Hey, Mandrill, good to have you. Thanks for stopping by, brother. Good to see you. Yes, Black Lexicon reading and consuming is much better than listening to your audiobooks. Reading on your Kindle is much better than that cable bill that's running us up and wasting our time. Help me, oh God. Every time I fight with Comcast, I'm like, why is it magically up another $20 or $50? Like out of the blue to just hike your stuff to see if you're paying attention. Yay, Black Lexicon says, I will definitely be reading your book, Lindell. Thank you. Appreciate that. Love the support here. Yes, thank you, Sandy B. It was Oleta State Park. Best day ever. One of my most memorable. But yeah, and oh God, can I tell you one more secret, Linda?
Tell me, but I'm gonna go check out that river.
Oneida State Park is so beautiful.
Yeah.
Be careful. Okay, this is what I want to tell you though. Get the kayak, don't get the canoe. The canoes kept turning over with people. I'm talking about in the ocean. So you have this whole estuary of a, small baby river that before you get there, several people turned over in the river before. But this is the other thing. I don't know if I should say this. Okay, I'm gonna say it. This is years ago, guys. So with the canoe though, the kayak. Prefer the kayak, not the canoe. The canoe's turned over.
Right.
And the person who weighs the most has to be in the back. I had to be in the back.
Oh my God.
I asked him, I was like, how much do you weigh? He was like, I was like, I think I got you by a couple points. He was like, no way, because I don't look like what I weigh.
Yeah.
I had to get on in the back.
So you're on the canoe or the kayak?
The kayak. Don't go in the canoe. The canoe.
Oh, I thought you got flipped over and everything.
No, thank God we had no flips. You have to wear a life vest. So if we did, we were in the ocean, but we had it on a life vest. But when he knew how to get to the little islands and where to go to get to the little kind of barrier islands, and it was so pretty, but it was full of bumblebees. It had so many bees. I was like, okay, we shouldn't really stay here. But people stop with their kayak or their canoe. They take a dip, make a picnic, do all this other stuff. But it was the most adventure. I really enjoy outdoor stuff anyway. It was like perfectly planned except the baloney and the not opening his wine. But yeah, I had to take the back seat. And he was surprised. He was like, really? I'm like, yeah. It wasn't by much though. It wasn't by much, but I was like, I done messed up the manhood. He not coming back out here. Yes, Richard. Finance and dating. I think that would be. Listen, just in this conversation alone, we can have some fun, y'all. Ladies, don't split meals anywhere. Said, stop the foolishness. Oh gosh, yes, Miss Globe Girl, so sweet of him. He put the effort in it. Yes, he did. And his car was not working at the time. I had to go get him, but he was overall a really sweet man. It sucks when you meet a girl and then all of a sudden something happens to your car. And then it was like, I'm still going to go out with you. I met you at a place that you clearly drove. So yeah. Oneida. Thank you, Juliet. Oneida State Park. Yes, I love it, Black Lexicon. I love it. You know where they also have a good one? You could take old girl, Lindell. Have you ever done in Hollywood, Florida, up north, Broward County? Have you ever done the midnight kayaking? At that park is called, oh gosh, I'm looking at the name of it right now. It's off of probably like Griffin all the way east. No, not Griffin, a little bit further south. Hollywood is further south, all the way east. Oh my gosh, they have it's 7 p.m. even though it says midnight kayak. When I say the sun set on that water and you're through the estuaries, pretty. When I say beautiful, I am an outdoorsy person like that. And again, I went with it was my homegirl invited me. And again, they know if they want to do outdoor crazy stuff like Everglade stuff, they call me. But that midnight kayaking out there, I think that's good for a couple too. And it's quiet. And then when you get into the bay, like before you get to the ocean, the moonlight on the water.
Nice.
Pretty. I gotta tell you what that park is named. Yes. Very relaxing, subtle breeze. Take a class though. Yeah, no, we was out there. Gully trying to do it. Yes. Okay, Black Lexicon. I like signature mom and pop restaurants. Yes. Oneida State Park. Yes, 163rd and the Intercoastal. You got me, Juliet. Oneida. You got me, Juliet. Exactly. Hard drive and memory demands can cause that issue. Your hard drive. Oh, is that what it is? My hard drive may be full. Okay, thank you for that. Talk about you're frozen like the bag, Suzette. You
Oh yeah, you were.
Leave me in my struggle stream. I appreciate you guys. Maybe she was allergic to that. That's what I thought, Juliet. When Lindell, when you're talking about your now wife, she probably was lactose, but didn't want to tell you. And then maybe she don't eat cheese like that. And then when you get it, hey, scam likely. Yeah. Pay for all these services. I hear you, Andrew, through your S Corp. Yes, through your sub a charter S corp and give me some of the salary from the extra income that you saved. I love it. I love it, Andrew, with the tips and the tricks. Oh, Damon, I didn't know that. You've been married 25 years. Listen, Denny's and the Waffle House are some of my favorite dating spots while I was in boy. That I mean, in college, we expect you to be kind of like, you can take me to the basic place. But I went with the gentleman to the International House of Pancakes, or no. What is it called? The pancake? No, what is it called? Not International House of Pancakes. The pancake House of Pancakes. Something like this. I hear you. Yes, my fluffy, no problem. Andrew, I'm not gonna beat you at 260. Listen, it was one something versus one something. It wasn't that high at that time, right? It was probably like he was like 150 and I was 160. But he couldn't believe it. He was like, "What?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sorry, I'm gonna be in the back." The rest of the dudes was in the back, and I was in the back of our kayak. It was fun though, but no, it wasn't no big number like that. But yeah, I had to hold him down for the kayak trip. He was a small dude. He was sweet though. He was sweet. Yes, we almost got stung up by the bumblebees. Sweet guy getting the ooh. Split means. You ever been to Papado? You go to Atlanta, Lindell? Atlanta.
I've been there, but not too. I don't know a lot of places.
This is one of my favorite. Now I did go on a kind of expensive date up in Atlanta, and we did go to Papados and a couple other places, but I didn't pay. Not that at my suggestion. He wanted to go to them places. I could have gone to some place, more economical. But yes, I plan to go to Florida. If I go to Florida, let's go. I wear 2 life preservers, some Benadryl. Listen, some of the most simple things. I like meeting people in public places, walk in the park, walk in a open plaza. Out here we have like shopping malls-ish, but they're outdoor and things like this. Simple stuff. Go get some ice cream. Let's go get vegan. Let's, chill. Like get to know you and go from there. Lindell, we're gonna go. Final thoughts. Guys, I appreciate the support. The chat has me laughing. Sorry for my struggle streaming. It is what it is. And I paid too much for it to be froze up. But then maybe because my plug wasn't in, it wasn't able to do all the things. But Lindell, you're in Jamaica and you got fantastic internet, which I love. But final thoughts about inflation. First of all, do you think prices will ever go back down to where they were?
Yes.
Really? Yes. Back down?
Yeah.
Really?
If you remember in the 70s, inflation was, maybe like 10%. Remember interest rate was crazy in the 70s. Mm-hmm. To buy a house. I remember when I bought my first house, this was like 89, right? My interest rate was about 15%. So we have seen this before, right?
Wow.
We're seeing where interest rates are very high. And then, again, it's all demand and supply. So something's going to happen to correct it. We go through what they call economic cycles, right?
Yeah.
It's just a normal thing. You have the boom, and then the economy busts, and then after it busts, then you have the recession, then you have the recovery, then you're back to the boom. It's just economic cycle. So there's different things you do in different economic cycle. We're just in a cycle right now. And, sometimes you wonder, you say, okay, why are they saying that the CPI or the consumer price index is only 4%, but when I go to the supermarket, things are 100% more expensive, right? And you got to remember, it's what they use to calculate the CPI. The CPI is a basket of goods and services. Sometimes it's not the things you're trying to buy, right? That's in that basket that they use to determine the inflation rate. And that's why you see that. You see it doesn't compute to what you're seeing in the grocery store. But it will go back down. It will. We just don't know how long. So as I said, is at this particular point, if you take away one thing from what I just said, is sacrifice. Start, in Jamaica, we have a saying that say, ban your belly, right? So at this particular point, whether you need to or not, start to cut back, start to save money, because cash is king. When you have the money, you will see the opportunity. And the opportunity will push you further ahead. because life is like this, right? Life is like, I'm going to give you an analogy, right? You're flying on an airplane. The airplane is going from Miami to Cairo, Egypt, right? You're on this flight. And while you're on this flight, you're in seat 10A, and you need to use the bathroom, and the bathroom is in the back of the plane because you're not in first class, right? So you walk to the back of the plane. So you're going backwards, right? So you're going backwards, but you're in a forward moving vehicle. So therefore, once you come back to your seat, you'll realize the plane has gone further. And that's kind of what the economic cycle is, right? You look at the economic cycle and you will see that sometimes it looks like you're going backwards. But after that period is over, you look and you're like, oh my God, this thing went further. It's the same thing with the stock market and stuff. You will see it seems like it goes down, then it goes up, it goes down, it goes up, it goes down. And so far, what we've seen, if you measure it from the start of the stock market to now, is that it has gone up and down, but it's a forward moving trend. We have not seen where the market is lower than where it started when it initially started. So therefore, that's the way you have to see the economic cycle. Don't ever panic because of something is happening, because it's just remember, you're just going to the back of the plane to use the bathroom, but it's a forward moving instrument. And therefore, when you come back to your seat, you're saying, wait a minute, I was looking at the Bahamas. Now I'm looking at a different island to my right, because it's forward moving. So what you have to do is to make sure you sacrifice that you have resources to take advantage of opportunity. So when it moves forward, you move with it.
Great advice, Lindell. I'm going to let you go. Thank you for being here, Lindell, again, giving us the insights of what we need to be thinking about, what we need to be focused on. In this time of inflation, take heart. Yes, bringing good news that there is something that we can, in fact, do about it. We can definitely sacrifice. We can be more diligent in our savings and making a plan. Get his book, y'all. I'll be reading it, Lindell, during my fast, when I'm fasting for Lent. I got a bunch of books that I'm like, instead of spending my Netflix and chill at 10 o'clock at night, I need to open up some books and get some real knowledge and encouragement and a plan, a game plan rolling out. Look him up, guys, on Amazon. 5 Steps to Financial Freedom. You see that he has a lot of wisdom, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I got to prepare for my Patreon. Lindell, have a good time in Jamaica for me, brother. And
yeah, man, see you soon. I'll be up there next week.
All right, I'll see you when you get back. Salute to the wife. Thank you very much. Always a pleasure. Bye from Jamaica, Lindell Douglas, y'all. I appreciate him always coming through, blessing us with his knowledge. You guys, we have a busy schedule coming up. Hit the like button. Hey, Miss AKA Lady, I got to jump off. This is the Jamaican term. I was going to explain it. Ban your belly, meaning tie your stomach, bandit, because you need to quit over, indulging. And in every way that applies to you, we got good knowledge from him. Is that advice in your book also? Lindell, you want to answer that real quick? I want to let you go. Is that advice in your book? I think so.
Yeah, so my advice is, yes, it's in the book. The book, as I said, the book is showing you 5 steps to help you to conquer the earthly realm. So you're doing as best you can for yourself. If you follow these are keys to your success, right? So if you follow them, it covers a lot. And that's why I said in 2 hours, you can write some things down, and then you have the book to revert back to, so you have it as a workbook, and you can always go back, you can look. It's not a book that is going to give you specific things to buy or sell. That's not what the book is designed for. The book is concepts to help you change your thinking and to get you in the right thinking. Because once you start doing that, what to buy and sell will come. Don't jump the gun. Some people just want you to tell them, go buy X, Y, and Z. That's not the way it works. There's some people who are salespeople. That's what they have in their thing to sell you. And they just want to sell you something, whether it's good for you or not. But we want you to understand where you're going, so based on where you're going, you know what to buy.
I love it. Okay, bye for real now. All right, gone, you're gone. So, guys, appreciate Lindell Douglas, certified financial planner. Check him out. His website is in the description, both on Jamaicans.com and on the SuzetteSpeaks page. What do we got coming up? Real quick, I'm going to go drink a protein shake. Yes, because I have a fun and exciting conversation coming up. We just did inflation. Trish for real is coming through. Sis, a fabulous Patreon content creator as well. She's been on here long time ago, Trish. I was looking at when we did our show together about, I think it was about like insecurity and things like this. She's a deep thinker, a strong all around woman, but soft, feminine, and also guided by higher, which I say callings. I'm appreciative of her. She's going to talk about a topic today I'm excited about, giving grace and how it has changed her life. We have a quote we're going to be discussing with our members only, folks who support my content. So go over to Patreon. Let's do it 3:05. We said 3 o'clock, 3:05. Keep it Miami. Come on over, all my Patreon members, 3:05 on Patreon. Exclusive. Nothing that you will hear will be available on YouTube. We're going to go deep talking about how to release ourselves, others. And it's really which I say a soul conversation for growth. So shout out to Trish for real. Go and support her also on Patreon. We also have coming up my homegirl, Janice Gaffney. All right, I met her through actually a networking group for speakers. And she's coming through. That will be a Tuesday, live 7 p.m. Eastern, 10 mistakes on YouTube that you can avoid for weight loss. So she's a at-home fitness expert. So she gives you online group training or individualized training, meal support. Fabulous lady. Can't wait to have her on Tuesday. I have Black women in STEAM. Y'all know about STEAM careers? Well, the struggles are real, right? So I called it Black women winning careers in STEAM with Tanu Akinyinka Pena. Can't wait to have her. She's out of Palm Beach, Florida, and going to talk about her journey, right? The industries that as a whole, what they are evolving into, and how you can be a part of that, right? And what you can learn from, no matter your race, gender, anything, is from her journey, which I can't wait for her to come on Monday at 7 and explore. So much good stuff coming up on the Suzette Speaks Show. Are you, in fact, subscribed? Well, if you're watching on Facebook, I encourage you to come on over to YouTube and hit the subscribe button. If you're watching kind of team replay and you're not subscribed, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. And anyone who is new to the channel, thank you so much. Y'all give me till 3:05 on the Patreon side, please. Thank you so much. Andrew said he's getting the book. Okay, I appreciate you. Andrew always supports. Appreciate that. Again, it's called 5 Steps to Financial Freedom. It's on Amazon by Lindell Douglas. Please check it out. Hit the like button, everybody, before you leave. I'll see you guys on Patreon. Thank you again so much for watching, and I'll see you next week on my brand new shows right here on the Suzette Speaks Show channel on YouTube. All right, have a good one. See you guys on Patreon. Bye. Thanks for watching.